everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Transcendent. We call it Transcendent because the word literally means to go beyond normal boundaries. We have to take the conversation of the day and lift them into another plane, another realm of discussion so that we can get different results. We don't want to keep going around the same mountain for 40 years, to use a proverbial phrase. We want to see from the mountaintop. We want to have a transcendent viewpoint on things that affect our lives every day. Transcendent is the Facebook live broadcast of the San Antonio Black, White, and Brown, and it's aired weekly right here on the Influencers platform on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining me today. I do have my phone with me today. I have an opportunity to look at you and see some of your comments up close and personal. So I'll do that as the program marches on. Three things that we're going to, today's program is entitled, Don't Be Fooled, We're Winning. Don't be fooled, we're winning. Because if you listen to some, it's like you're flushed. You already have been flushed down the drain and it's over for you. When in reality, we're winning. We're going to walk through that tonight in three parts. The first part is that we're going to talk about the prayer wave that's building here in the city of San Antonio. There's nothing more critical for our success as people of God in the earth than to be able to touch Almighty God in prayer and have His power released into the earth where we can see tangible change and difference that's taking place in our lives. And we can give God praise for that and continue to pray as we continue to see great changes taking place. So I want to start really with a praise report tonight. I went on Facebook some time ago, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a little more. And I asked you, our Facebook family, to help me reach a $10,000 goal to be able to secure $2.5 million worth of brand new and brand named clothing items, coats and jackets and shirts and pants and dresses and shoes for all ages and both male and female. That truck is not in the city yet. It will be arriving soon. As soon as it's here, I will let you know. But what I wanted to let you know in praise report is that we have reached our goal. We reached the $10,000 goal because you were faithful in your giving, and we had a number of people that did that. From the power is in the small donor, because the small donor can do what they do every week. There's about 1,300 of you that receive an email from SABWB. You're on our email list, and you receive an email from us. We don't blow your email up, but all of you, just all of you, doing $10 a month causes us to be sustained and able to take quantum leaps forward. But this time around, for the $10,000 goal, some of you came swinging for the fences. In fact, our last gift to help us reach the $10,000 goal was a $4,000 gift. Almost half of that came from one person. But we had a major church in our city, is a good friend and a dear partner in the faith, also give to that need. Many of you gave what you could give to that need. We had some $1,000 donors giving to that need. $1,000 donor inspired others. And before we know it, we looked around and we were at $10,000. Now, we're now positioned, as soon as we get the word, to release the funds to secure that 53-foot trailer with $2.5 million worth of clothing and items on it for the people who stand in need here in the city of San Antonio. And we're going to use the overflow as well. But I just wanted to start tonight with that praise report to thank you for doing that. Now, we got a lot of things coming down the road. SABWB is in the midst of researching to become a 501c4 so that we can take more of an aggressive stance where candidates are concerned, to help with school board and help with city council and even beyond the scope of our city. A C4, a 501c4 will allow us to do that. We already have a 501c3, but a 501c4 allows us to take another step. You can help fund that as well. There are things coming down the line that is just so necessary for our day. We're living in a day when we have to be aggressive and move forward with these things, and we are able to do that because of you. So thank you. Thank you for helping me reach that $10,000 goal and the things you will do in the future as a monthly partner. $10 a month from those 1,300 people would supply it. It would supply it like that, and you wouldn't miss it. So be looking for an email from me. In fact, you have an email in your inbox from me. And those of you who are on our text list, you also received a text to that to check your email so that you could read and respond. Okay, tonight I want to start, as we always start, with the prayer wave. There is a prayer wave building in the city of San Antonio, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. Joan Courtney, formerly Joan Bond, her husband passed, and she remarried L.C. Courtney, who is a jewel of a man. Joan has been leading Lighthouses of Prayer International, started as Women's Neighborhood Prayer, turned to Women's Prayer International because they began to leave the city and establish prayer groups around the country. Soon it turned to Lighthouses of Prayer International, not isolated to women any longer, inclusive of both men and women. It is now led by Pastor Gene Leffler, and Pastor Leffler has called together a number of pastors across our city to come together for seasons of prayer. We prayed through the election. We prayed after the election. We've been praying this entire year. And for the last 4 months of the year, we all met the first Sunday of the month at churches around the city and prayed in those churches. Just last month, one of my favorite men in the city, I call him Batman, Pastor Eli Bonilla. There's something about that leader, that church leader, that provokes the people at Vida Abundante to pray. There are 2 locations for Vida. Actually, there's 6 around our city, but the 2 that I'm familiar with is the one at 7431 South Presa and the other off of Grissom Road. They lead this city in prayer and intercession, and we were able to be with them in our collective prayer meeting this past Sunday night, the first Sunday of this month, November. Next month, we're going to be on the north side with Pastor Kirk Freeman. I can't wait to be there. I haven't never been to that church. I know Kirk, love him, and I've prayed with him on a number of occasions. Cross Bridge, we're going to be there praying with him and moving the kingdom of God forward as these not just pastors, but intercessory groups and church members come together for prayer. The house was full the first Sunday in November, almost full. It was a very good population of people there for prayer. We anticipate the same at Cross Bridge as we move forward. This prayer wave just keeps building. It keeps building. It's building many ways across our city. One of the ways that the prayer wave builds is you becoming a part of the SA Prayer Net. It's led by Apostle Rob Wallace and his wife, Prophetess Teresa Wallace. They have put forth an opportunity to gather 1,000 intercessors around San Antonio. You want to become a part of that 1,000 intercessors and prayer warriors. It is as simple as texting the word city to the following number, 210-796-6999. It's on your screen there, to become a part of SA Prayer Net, 210-796-6999. Those are 2 prayer efforts that's going on in the city, but they're not the only 2. This coming weekend, in fact, there's going to be a men's experience put on at 316 Church, used to be Fortress Church, out on Prue Road. A number of pastors have come together, the Pastors Fellowship of San Antonio. These brothers also meet and pray. People are praying all over our city. And out of that prayer effort, this great gathering for men is going to happen this weekend. So I highly encourage you to grab a hold of a handful of your uh, have a grab a hold of a handful of the men in your congregation and go to that this coming weekend. See that there are some. Hey, Maddie and Mabel and DJ. Thanks, guys, for joining me here. I'm looking at my Facebook page, and you guys are on it tonight. At, all right, man of God, it's good to see you on tonight. It's good to see you. I'm so grateful for what God is doing across our city. And there are many people that are praying, and the prayer wave is building. As that prayer wave builds, like the wave of the sea, it continues to mount, and it will change the landscape. Your prayers will literally change the landscape in San Antonio, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that prayer wave with you. At SABWB, we also engage daily in prayer, but we set aside a time each Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. to go live on Facebook with what we call the I Pray experience. You can join us live on Facebook each Friday from 10 to 11, or you can be personally live in our offices as we pray. Our office is located at 8023 Vantage Drive in the Callahan Tower. So thank you so much for carving out the time to be there. If you can't make it there personally, join us on Facebook, SABWBTX. SABWBTX. You can join us there for our live I Pray experience each Friday. And I'm so glad that you are able to carve that time out to be with us. We're going to be increasing our prayer effort in terms of SABWB. Some things are in the work now. Our executive director, Natalie Hardy, will be contacting you with the details concerning that. We understand the importance of prayer, and prayer involves the supernatural power, gets God involved. And so across our city, we're going to be doing some strategic things where prayer is concerned going forward, not just our I Pray experience. We want you to get involved in whatever prayer arena you're getting involved in. Give yourself to it, because it's through that the legitimate power of God is released into the earth. God has so designed the system that way. So it's not just him wanting people to grovel at his feet. No, he's looking for sons and daughters to operate and co-labor with him in his great adventure to advance his kingdom across the face of the earth and any given location as well, which is like the city of San Antonio. We get to join together to co-labor with the Father as we successfully learn how to pray and engage and then walk by faith. So thank you so much for being a part of that already. And for those of you who need to plug in, do plug in with the SA Prayer Net, plug in with the LPI Pastors Prayer Groups. It'll be at Crossbridge Christian Church this coming first Sunday in December. And I'll give you the date since I got my phone tonight. I feel real special. December 5th. December 5th is the first Sunday in December, and it's that night from 6 to 7:30 that we'll be at Crossbridge with Pastor Freeman. So be ready. Let's get on board and do this thing. I'm going to go to commercial now and end our time on the building of the prayer wave with our executive director, Natalie Hardy, inviting you personally to join us on Friday at 10 to 11 for prayer. Here's our executive director, Natalie Hardy.
Hello, my name is Natalie Hardy from SABWB, San Antonio in Black, White, and Brown. Every Friday morning at 10 a.m., we are at this table seeking the face of God on behalf of our city. And if you didn't know that, I wanted you to know so that you can tune in with us and pray with us, whether we do it on that same time or after the fact, and look at a broadcast and pray with us after the fact. Every voice counts. So join with us on Friday mornings, and we look forward to praying with you. Bless you. Bye-bye.
I just looked in the notes, and I have a Representative John Lujan. He just won District 118. I'm so happy and glad that God has put a godly man in the office without apology. He's a man that's skilled, because you remember Exodus 18, right? Exodus 18 with the prerequisites for leadership, that they would men such as fear God, uh, men of truth, they hate covetousness. But the first one is that they're able, they're capable. John is already leading in the community. He has a business. He's already leading in his local church. He's not somebody who comes by the local church when it's election time. I'm so glad that that God put John Lujan in District 118 as District 118's representative here in the state of Texas. Congratulations, congratulations, Representative Lujan. What is the proper title now? Congratulations, Your Majesty. Lujan is just serving in our city, and we're so grateful that you're doing just that. And we want to support. I know that that it's hardest to involve every citizen in every way productively to bring the kind of change that we want to see in District 118 and really across the face of our city as well. So thank you, Representative Lujan, for being on tonight. We were just talking about the prayer wave. Now I want to talk to you about what we just finished last Monday. It was last Monday, not yesterday, but a week from yesterday. The People's Movement, which is the wartime effort of SABWB. We realize that we have SABWB has a peacetime and it has a wartime effort. In peacetime, we are plodding along, and we're actually be recalling some people to the table about putting forth a particular principle in our city, saturating our culture with that principle. But we also in a wartime effort because we realize that our rights and things are being assaulted. So what we do at SABWB, we do nonviolent direct actions. You will hear them referred to as NDAs, nonviolent direct actions. You see it on your screen now. You can become a part of the People's Movement simply by going to our website at sabwb.org. And when you get there, there's a banner at the top that says the People's Movement. Click that banner, fill out that document to give us some information to contact you. And then secondly, go join on Facebook the closed private Facebook group called the People's Movement. Click that banner at the top of the website, fill out the doc so we can communicate with you, and then go join the People's Movement Facebook page. It's a private page. We're going to be doing a lot of training on that page as we prepare to do nonviolent direct actions across the city. We have done several in one location, and we will be doing a third in the same location. The thing that we feel that we have a compulsion to impact at the moment is the educational mountain, particularly in the San Antonio Independent School District, the San Antonio Independent School District. Let me just say some things about it. First of all, it is almost the eastern half of Loop 410. Take Loop 410 around the city, cut it in half. The eastern half is basically the boundaries for SAISD, with the exception of a few places there. These are hardworking parents. They are people who have their nose to the grindstone and many times don't place a priority on what is happening with their children. And the system knows that. SAISD and its board depend on the passivity of people within the district. But I want to say this to parents now. I want to say this to parents in every district in San Antonio. It was Dr. Martin Luther King who made a statement along these lines that a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And I'm tailoring that statement to say to you tonight that a child that is in trouble in SAISD is a child that's in trouble in any district. So I'm calling for parents, not only those who have students at SAISD, I'm calling certainly for parents within SAISD. I'm calling for you to let's collect our voices together and exhibit the kind of outrage, I said outrage, But there is a way to exhibit outrage that is productive, and there is a way to exhibit outrage that is unproductive. We will not go the unproductive route. That's why we call our actions nonviolent direct action. They are nonviolent, they are direct, and we do take action. So we're going to do it again. I'm going to show you a clip in just a moment of our outing at SAISD just a couple of weeks ago. This would have been our second time at SAISD. If you're in the People's Movement, we number about 100 right now. All of you, every one of your hands are needed on deck at SAISD on December the 16th, and be there in time enough to sign up to speak before 5:30. The meeting starts at 6 o'clock. And I'll tell you in our training sessions scheduled for December the 2nd and December the 9th, what we're going to address and how we're going to address it, to give you talking points. They're only talking points. There's no script for you, but it'll give you some information on what you need to address in that district. The San Antonio Independent School District is the only district in the state of Texas that mandated vaccines for its employees. That is jab or job in SAISD. Thankfully, the Texas Supreme Court stayed that order, but the school district is still hunting for a way to put that kind of pressure on its employees. And then I want the producer to bring up a screenshot that was red banner at the top. And I want you to see this. I want you to, before we go to the video that we did last week, I want you to see this banner, the screenshot that SAISD sent out. That screenshot, I want to read it to you as soon as it's on the screen. There it is right there. Our vaccine clinics. This is, again, you see the pediatric COVID-19 vaccination clinics. This was put out by SAISD. Our vaccine clinics from ages 5 through 11 this weekend, that is November 11th through the 13th, so it's just this past weekend, are full. The vaccine clinics are full. We're still accepting registrations for 18 to 20, November 18, 20, which would be this coming weekend. Please check, and then it gives you a place to check there to register for available dates and to learn of additional clinics as they are scheduled. Now, this is a full out run at children to get them vaccinated for something that is not a pandemic, to get them vaccinated for it, because the FDA or the CDC says that they can be. Vaccinate your child if that's what you want to do, but don't do it without information. Don't do it until you have gotten a clear basis of unbiased information. Get information, if you will, from both sides of the argument, and then make your decision as to whether or not you're going to vaccinate your 5 to 11-year-old child. And ask yourself why. Vaccinate them why. The death rate does not warrant you vaccinating your child. Hospitalizations don't. In fact, in the city of San Antonio, they have stopped now having, the city hall has stopped having briefings on COVID hospitalizations and death because the risk is so low. If the risk is that low, why shoot this jab in the arms of 5 to 11-year-olds? My God. Get some information, please. Just get some information before you make those decisions as to what you want to do in terms of vaccinating your child. I know that my staff told me, I think it was just yesterday, that on YouTube we're at a warning and 2 strikes. This may get the 3rd strike, but I'm not. And if that happens, you won't find us on YouTube anymore. We'll have to find another platform to which we can direct you, but we're not going to stop giving you the necessary information that you need to have. But just know that a target is going after your children in regard to that. Now, I want you to look at this clip, and in this clip, you're going to see how SABWB addresses the People's Movement, particularly how we address school board. We're not screaming and yelling at them, and I'll tell you about some comments that we received when that's over. So go ahead and bring up that that video of SABWB's partners, particularly the People's Movement people, speaking to SAISD's school board a week ago yesterday. However, there are no numbers, hospitalizations or fatalities, that warrant the kind of measures, first of all, that you're placing on children in the San Antonio Independent School District. So that lets us know that this effort is not in the medical interest of our children. There are some other interests. And your interest is to educate our children, not to force a political agenda upon them or to uphold or further anyone's political agenda. We would ask you to stop using our children as instruments to make, as law-breaking instruments, because GA 13 is a reality, SB 961 is a reality, and the school board does not have the right to break the law.
I came here today to represent the generation that all the issues I'm going to talk about today will affect. I personally do not like the mask mandates. All of my friends, we hate the masks. As soon as we can get them off, we take them off. Then we mingle with each other without masks. And I believe that the masks, having them in schools, will not affect anything at all. Because once the school's over, kids are going to hang out without masks, and any transmission will happen at that time.
Now, that was a 17-year-old young man whose aspirations is to be a lawyer. He is a highly intelligent young man in his senior year in high school, but he's already finished 2 years of college. He spoke eloquently as you just saw at that meeting. We didn't lambast the school board. We did call and a full clip of everyone who spoke is on the back side of our website. So if you want to get a full view of everyone that was there speaking on the behalf of SABWB, and I want you to be able to see what our deportment, our character is like. Now, here's what happened afterwards. After we finished at SAISD, and that was nearly 20 of us in the room that spoke, and nearly 20 of us that spoke to that issue. After we left, the school board then had, they did their dog and pony show. There was a person who came up and tried to justify why these 5 to 11-year-old children and why there need to be immunization clinics in the schools and all this stuff. And we were no longer in the room, but there were still some people in the SAISD chambers that disagreed with him, and they shouted him down. Now, there was none of that going on while we were there, because we believe that if we can righteously and rightfully appeal to power, that power sees the numbers. This is why I'm calling for you parents you may not have children in SAISD at all, but a threat to a child's safety anywhere is a threat to a child's safety everywhere. So I'm calling for you. I'm calling for you parents out of the North Side. I'm calling for you parents, Parents for Freedom, or it's called PUF or something like that. Mothers for Justice, all of you. Focus on December the 16th at San Antonio Independent School District, along with the People's Movement, and let's put the pressure where it belongs. Now, especially parents with children in the district. Parents with children in the district. If you live in the district and you don't have children, but you live in the San Antonio Independent School District and you're paying taxes specifically to that district, you need to move on the behalf of children. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say to incite you to movement. Um, what do I do if that's your question? Let me repeat. Go to SABWB, click on the People's Movement. That's the banner right at the top. Fill out the Google Doc, and then go join the People's Movement Facebook group. It's a private, closed Facebook group, and it's in that we're going to do some training to help prepare you with the information necessary that you can help execute on December the 16th, our next nonviolent direct action. And I wanted you to see that we're not just talking about this stuff. There are actions that we're taking that are well-informed actions and speaking to the right people. We need to put the pressure where the pressure belongs. And in this particular case, it is at the SAISD. Let me say one other thing about SAISD before I move from this section of our program tonight. They're up for re-election. The president, the vice president, and one of the seats belonging to Patty Rattle is up for re-election in 2023. We got a map of SAISD. We'll soon be plotting the churches. We're going to start that plotting process in January of 2022. We'll be plotting the churches that are in that district. We'll be making direct contact with those churches and pastors, asking them to scour their congregations for qualified people to sit on the school board. They will then be vetted by a vetting mechanism. Several organizations coming together to vet candidates to make sure that we get the right people in the right places. Thank you guys so much for coming on here. Janice, thank you. Thank you, Janice, for being on and dealing with some of the issues that are arising here. It's a total necessity for us to be proactive and to be the kind of people that take rightful action into our hands. So I'm calling again. I'm calling for parents. I'm calling for people that live in the district. You have children or grandchildren that go to school in the San Antonio Independent School District. Actually, I should have, you know what I should have done? I'll do it next week. I'll flash the map up on the screen of the San Antonio Independent School District so to help you determine where you live, and that you need to be active at where you live in terms of the boundaries of the district, so that you can be active. But even if you're not in the district, a threat to a child's safety anywhere is a threat to every child's safety everywhere. So we have found a battlefront. It is the SAISD school board meeting on December 16th. This will be our third trip. The crowd gets larger every time we go. I want to walk into SAISD with hundreds of people who are well informed, and hundreds of people signed up to speak, hundreds of people that are from the district and from outside of the district that let school boards know that we don't want our children to be forced to take a vaccine, nor do we want SAISD employees forced or shamed or pressured into taking a vaccine that they're not comfortable with, and there are reasons not to be comfortable with it. There are reasons not to be. We don't live in a country where those things are forced. But if we remain passive and if we remain uninformed, they will be enforced. So I need you to move. I need you to move now. I need you to move. Go to sabwb.org, click on the People's Movement, and then fill out that Google Doc, and we'll collect your information from there, and then go next to the Facebook and join the People's Movement closed Facebook page. It's on that page that we'll be doing our training in preparation to our next NDA, which is on December the 16th at SAISD. As you can see, we don't sit on our hands at SABWB. There are some things we know we need to move forward with, and we're going to do that. And I'm so thankful that you are doing it and you are engaged. Thank you guys so much for what you're doing. Michelle, Teresa Johnson. Teresa is my sister from another mother. She's on here tonight, at least was. I'm not sure if you still are. If you are, Teresa, you know I love you and Pastor Kenny. Pastor Kenny is just doing a knockout job for us at Faith Outreach Center. He's teaching our Financial Peace University. So grateful for you guys being on tonight. Mabel, we saw pictures of you today, Mabel. We did the Thanksgiving dinner in honor of Kathy, and we saw you on the screen. It was a very beautiful time. So this I'm going to end this portion on the school board, but please act for the sake of your children, act for the sake of your grandchildren. Even if you don't have a child in the district, plan to be with us December the 16th. If you live in the district, let everybody in that district know that we're coming to speak with you and to speak up with you on the behalf of the safety and the welfare of your children and the employees in the district, so that they're treated rightfully. Our rights are being trampled on. It seems to be the thing to do these days, is to trample on rights, and if they're not defended by your diligence, we will lose those rights. We will lose them. But I believe that there is a stirring. It's evident around the country. There's a stirring. Let there be a stirring in SAISD. Let there be a stirring there. So act upon it. I'm going to go to commercial now. And once I come back from commercial, we're going to enter into our third section of the program tonight, dealing with highlights from the Reawaken America tour that took place at Cornerstone Church just this past weekend. Let's go to commercial.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Flowers, the founder of San Antonio in Black, White, and Brown, also known as SABWB. SABWB is the premier leadership space where influencers from every race and position and perspective converge to build relationships and collaborate on the implementation of principles that shape the culture. SABWB is your voice speaking aloud for integrity, for justice and transparency and truth in our city. SABWB is your platform for collaboration leading to impact and transformation. SABWB is your presence in the marketplace of ideas in business and politics and education, sports, entertainment, health and wellness, media, and the church. SABWB needs your partnership as we together transcend the boundaries of race and class and build a kingdom culture here in San Antonio. Partnership is only $10 a month, easy enough for all of us to participate. Many of us doing a little will have major impact in our city. To partner, go to sabwb.org or text SABWB space your gift to 84321. Thank you in advance for joining in the transformation of our city.
In this portion of our program, I want to highlight some things that took place at the Reawaken America tour this weekend. I am so glad. It was a fire hose event. What is that? It started at 10 in the morning. 65 speakers spoke in 3 days. It started at 10 in the morning and went till the first day until 5 in the evening. The second day from 10 in the morning till 8 in the evening, and the third day from 10 till 8. No breaks for bathroom, no breaks for lunch. If you needed to go to the restroom, you went to the restroom. If you want to go eat lunch, you went and ate lunch, but they just kept it moving. Clay Clark and that team was remarkable. Was incredible. Some of the people that were there speaking, I was glad to see many faces in the crowd, and I was glad to see that presenting was a whole host of folks that I learned a ton of things from. I want to point out a couple of highlights about the Reawaken America. It's called Reawaken or Reopen America tour that I think is important for you to know. I'm going to come back and probably do a Reawaken Part 2 in a section of next month's program, because there was several presenters that presented things that I think you need to see. In fact, I need you to note a couple of things. One of the speakers was Mike Lindell, My Pillow guy, and I highly recommend his stuff. We got My Pillow stuff in the house here, and just bought some more this weekend. They're comfortable and you sleep good on them. So I encourage you to support that, because merchandiser after merchandiser canceled him. He felt the pinch of the cancel culture because he dared to speak upstream of the narrative. Think about it. We're talking about in America, because you don't follow the narrative. Retailers cut him out, removed his Kohl's and different kinds of these stores, moving his stuff out. But God supplied. He just hired 200 more people. I think it was this month. What his report was this weekend. You need to support it. I have a friend here in the city. She's such a woman of God, and she said to me, she said, I don't even. I said I have enough of the pillows. She said, but I buy them just to support them. I buy them, give them away to other people. We have to learn to use our economic power. In the last section, we were talking about nonviolent direct action. That's using our persons, our mind, our prayer, our presence to affect change at SAISD. But we have to learn to use also our collective economic power. I'll remind you again that we do have a blueprint for winning when you're oppressed. We can thank Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Reverend Ralph Abernathy, E.D. Nixon, Rosa Parks. We can, all these names that are familiar to us, Harry Belafonte, all of them joined in this effort to push back against the pressure that had so oppressed people of African American descent for more than 350 years in this country at that time. 254 years of slavery and another 100 years of Jim Crow. Yeah. But God gave Dr. King and others the use of a template on how to win when all odds are against you. I've been studying that template, the things that we're doing now. In fact, what we call our NDAs, or nonviolent direct action, comes right out of that study. We are going to apply the pressure where it belongs. And so we'll learn how to use our economic pressure and other things. These things are not just done. They have to be strategically thought through and prayed through. And then people have to not be passive. They have to be focused and united in order for things to change at the grassroots level. Nobody's going to come in and swoop in as the next knight in shining armor and rescue us from all of this stuff. One of the presenters this weekend said that Sidney Powell, some of you will know that name, an aggressive woman in law. She said, release the Kraken, when all of this stuff was going on with voter integrity, the lack of voter integrity. And this presenter said, yeah, she said, yeah, I agree, release the Kraken. And then she said, waited a week or 2 weeks, and she's like, where's the Kraken? Where's And then she said she looked in the mirror and finally came to understand, you're the Kraken. What does that mean? You're the one to be released into taking action. Stop being passive. Your passivity will kill you. Passivity is too high a price to pay. You are robbed in passivity. You're run over through passivity. You and I have to take coordinated action, and we're teaching you how to do so at SABWB. So one thing that I want to reflect on, and I said last week next week I'm going to come with some data on these things that I'm saying to you now as far as highlights is concerned. But one was a statistician, and he showed. Listen to me now. Listen, I want you to listen to this real close. He showed in every county in the country, not just in the swing states. He showed mathematical proof, evidence that within every county in the country, they had arranged the logarithm to pull down a certain percentage of votes in a certain age group. And they did that the same way all across the country. They have the electronic data from the machines and they analyze the data. And so here's what I'm saying in short, that if let's pull the group 18 to 35, for example. He says that you can take that 18 to 35 group and determine what percentage of them voted in any county in the country, because it's the same in any county. In other words, 18 to 25-year-olds, let's say, I'm just pulling up numbers now, 25% of them voted in Dade County, Miami. You do the 18 to 25-year-olds in Spokane, Washington, the same percentage, 25%. Do it in Los Angeles, same percentage. Do it in New York, same percentage. Any county in the country, that same percentage is represented by that same age group anywhere in the country. It's proof positive that the system was manipulated uniformly in every county in America. The data shows that. Mathematical, my dad, although he quit school in the 3rd grade, he had an incredible mind. My dad's born in 1910, so he quit school to go to work in the fields. Later in life, in his late 50s and 60s, he went back to school and finished his high school education and went on to get an associate's degree at college. But he was a math guy, and he would say to me all the time, "Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie." It is the way it is. Now, I know that the people have, there are many who are now training themselves to lie with statistics. There's a picture of Bill Gates, and he's reading a stack of books, and one of the books that he's reading, the title of it is How to Lie with Statistics. So we know that things can be twisted around based upon, the input. You can get a skewed output. But in this particular case, if the same percentage of votes from 18 to 35 exist in every county around America, then that's rigged. That's fixed. Not only with 18 to 25, but every single age group broken down, every single group broken down by age also voted the same percentage in every county in the country. Now, you know that didn't happen. The curve that indicates how many people are registered and the percentage of that registered people that are registered that voted, they match perfectly in every county around the country. Numbers don't lie, people. Numbers don't lie. I'll show you the graphs, because all of that will be up this coming Friday. All of the material for that was presented at the Reawaken Tour will be online this coming Friday. So I'll be able to pull some of those graphs down and show them to you in part 2 next week. But what I wanted you to get from this 3rd section is this. Something is happening around us that if we don't act, we'll wake up one day and wonder, how did we get here? How did I pass this on to my children and my grandchildren? Somebody says, why you do this so much? Well, I do it really because there's a call of God on my life to do it. I'm responsible for this city. I'm responsible, not singularly and and not solely, but I have a place of responsibility because this is where God has placed me. This is my life assignment is being worked out here in the city of San Antonio and beyond that, but I have a heart for this city. But I also do it because I have grandchildren. And I want my children are grown. They're thankful. I'm thankful to God that as they're growing, they're experiencing their own unique calls and destinies in God, and I'm grateful for it. But they are now having children. And my grandchildren have to grow up in this city. I'm not going to lay down and let stuff happen. No. I won't look my grandchildren in the face if things go sour and ugly. And they say, "Granddaddy, what happened?" And I say, "I don't know, baby. I don't know." No, I'll be able to look my grandchildren in the face and say, it would have went that way, but Grandpa, Pawpaw, and a whole bunch of other people like you moved to stop it, moved to reverse it. And as a result, you have to reverse it in your day as well. Freedom can be lost in one generation. Each generation must fight to maintain its freedoms. It's a paraphrase of Ronald Reagan. So I want to encourage you to be aware of what's happening around you. I'll bring again some of the data and some of the examples to you next week from the Reawaken America tour. I had some people go with us. I was just so thankful that they weathered that storm of the torrent of information that came toward us. They weathered it and did well with it. And so thank you guys for coming. I'm going to go to one more commercial, and after that, we're going to come back and I'll tell you about partnership and closing up for tonight. We're actually ending just a little bit early tonight. So I'll be right back after this commercial.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Flowers, your host for Transcendent. Transcendent is SABWB's online weekly broadcast aired here on Influence's platform. Join me and other key leaders from various pillars of influence which shape the culture of San Antonio for innovative and strategic dialogue. Each week, we will address core community values and principles that need to be restored and re-implemented into our culture of our great city. This may often necessitate identifying where these values and principles are being compromised and reflecting on the damaging impact that such actions may have if left unaddressed. But ultimately, we want to take the conversation beyond ordinary limits, exceed the normative boundaries, and implement bold, time-tested principles across the pillars of influence in our city, which will result in the positive transformation of the culture. I look forward to visiting with you each week here on Transcendent.
All right, I wanted to tell you one more thing before we close for the evening. And it's probably the biggest news that came off of the Reawaken America tour. It's what happened in the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals stayed the Biden administration's mandate for private companies, to require that their employees either get a jab or lose their job. The Fifth Court of Appeals, you should read it. I'll read portions of it to you next week. It was read this weekend in its entirety. It was a scathing word against the Biden administration, pointing out its own duplicities in terms of its operation, and halted the mandate to have private companies put the pressure on their employees, a federal mandate for private companies to put pressure on their employees to get a jab or lose their job. That has been halted. No doubt the firestorm is continuing. It will probably end up in the Supreme Court of the United States. So we do need to be praying. We do need to be praying. But there are some things leaning in the right direction. If it got to the Supreme Court of the United States, it's likely that they will uphold the Fifth Circuit's ruling. It's likely that they will uphold it, which means that that mandate must be stayed. Think for a minute, people. Somebody says, well, COVID is real. It is real. And it's fatal. You're right, it is fatal. And we need protections. And you do need protections. You're right on all three cases. The error is to buy the narrative that the vaccine is the only cure. There are three: budesonide, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, all of them in the medical community. Now, even in the medical community, your worst chances of getting over COVID is going to the hospital with it, because they're using a drug in hospital protocols. They will not use ivermectin. They will not use budesonide. They will not use hydrochloroquine. And yet these studies have put out by very reputable medical authorities have proven that these protocols and these medicines save lives. We heard from doctors this weekend. One of them served 9,000 patients, lost none. Served 9,000 patients and lost none. The black lady, the African doctor from Houston, reported the same. All kinds of comorbidities, they were called. She served them with hydrochloroquine and lost none of them. Yet you go to the hospital and the hospital will insist on the use of remdesivir, and remdesivir kills. Your worst chance of getting over COVID is going to the hospital with it, because they have a protocol that is against your health. We probably are going to have to tell you how to reach us in the future, because there are some places in YouTube and others that may not stand for this, for me telling you things like this. But you and I have to, we have to live and survive off of the truth. If we're taken off of YouTube, we already talked about it in the staff. We're going to be directing you to the rumble.com account. We have an account at Rumble as well, directing you there so that you can get the needed information that you need and fight intelligently. So let me invite you the last time, do a couple things. Go to the website, sabwb.org, click on the banner, join, that says the People's Movement at the top, fill out that doc, and then go to Facebook and join the closed Facebook group, the People's Movement, the People's Movement TX, the People's Movement TX. That's a private Facebook group. If you click that and join that dot, or if you have been allowed to join the page and have not yet joined the People's Movement, you may be on the page, but go click the website as well and make sure that you're part of the People's Movement, because we want to inform you and want to train you and we want to deploy you. SAISD must hear from every parent in the city, both within the district and without. SAISD must hear you for the safety of children. For a threat to child safety anywhere is a threat to children's safety everywhere. And you and I cannot stand by and watch them treat children in a manner that is not necessary for them to be treated, and in some ways are creating crisis, even death. We don't want that to happen, but it will happen if we sit around and do nothing. So let's arm ourselves with good, solid information. I'm going to be having two trainings, December 2nd and December the 9th, at the Focus Center Bookstore and Cafe from 6 to 7:30. And then on December 16th, we're going to execute the NDA at San Antonio Independent School District. So keep those dates in your mind. Go ahead and, if you will, please, and become our monthly partner, doing only $10 a month. Jamie, I think, is that you on here? Jamie was so great last week. Stephen, thanks for watching. Melba, Mom Rosalie, thank you for watching tonight. Pastor Ronson, thank you so much for watching. Jeff Harris. I love you, man. I'm just so thankful to God for you. Neil Fisher, thank you for watching. Melanie, thanks that you're on tonight. You guys are just in a strong encouragement to move forward with that. Yeah, Pastor Hall's my Facebook hero. He knows the deal. That guy. By the way, we have to attack this from several points of view. One of them is with op-eds, and one of op-eds are articles or Facebook postings, or we have to saturate the culture with the truth. We'll be telling you more about that going forward as well. I thought about that because Pastor Runson Hall is such a good communicator on the page. He's a great speaking communicator, but he's as eloquent on the written page and writes very clearly and very powerfully. So we're going to collect our efforts, guys, as we move on. Michelle, I see you're on here tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. Victoria, make sure that you contact Janice as she's giving you instruction to do so. So you can donate 5 ways. It'll be on your screen here shortly. You can donate by going to our website at sabwb.org and use PayPal there. You can click the one-time, give a one-time donation, or better yet, you can become a $10 partner and it'll just come out of your credit card once every month and you won't miss it. And you will help us take quantum leaps forward. So I highly encourage you to do that. And more people are starting to do it. Thank God more people are, so that we can continue to move this thing forward. What do we want to do in the future? We want our own news cameras and our own trained journalists. We found some hookups this weekend that can get people not who have gone to college and become journalists, but people who can learn from the best at being journalists, from those who have spent many years doing so. Hard-hitting, clear journalists. We want people to be able to hang a SABWB lanyard around their neck and go to the next thing that's happening and get some objective reporting, something that you can listen to and know that you're getting objective truth. We can't wait on somebody else to do that. Your partnership makes all of that happen. And you can do it by donating one of these ways. Go to sabwb.org, click on Become a Partner Now, or one-time gift if you want to give a one-time gift. You can mail it to us at 8023 Vantage Drive, San Antonio. You can text it to us we use Planning Center. You can text the number 84321. Text your gift to that number. Choose SABWB, because there's a list of them. Choose SABWB and then just give your amount there by text. You can find us also on Venmo at sabwb.org, or on Cash App at $sabwb.org. I saw something my daughter-in-law put out today, that some of these cash options like Venmo and SABWB have aligned themselves with the government to report if you give over $600 to any organization. So you may only give $599.99. So your gift won't be reported to the government that you've given SABWB in excess of $600. But however you choose to give, go ahead and give. And your small, I'm such a believer in the power of the small donor. If that small donorship base is broad and everybody's doing their part, nobody's missing anything, but it just keeps collecting and keeps empowering us to move forward with the thing that we're called to do here in the city of San Antonio. That means that we got to pick up some equipment and some people and some, maybe even expand some office space. All that stuff is made possible because you, the small donor, make it possible. $10 is something some of you won't miss. Some of you don't miss 25. You don't miss 50 or 100. Do whatever you don't miss, and become our monthly partner at SABWB. All right, that's it for tonight. We've probably run just a little bit over an hour in all of my efforts to get off. I've run probably a little bit over, maybe. But we love you big, and we'll see you next week right here on the Influencers platform for our weekly Facebook Live broadcast called Transcendent. Blessings to you. Bye-bye now.